Hello children, in this video we are going to move ahead with the last act of our play The Tempest, that is Act 5. And as you can see, I have named it as the climax with an epilogue. So here, this act actually gives us the climax of the play, and that too with an epilogue. This act has only one scene in it. So what is the significance of this scene or act? Let's discuss about it. First is the unfolding of all difficulties in which all actors are brought together on this stage before curtain drops. Now, all main characters, till now, you have seen, there are two groups which have been found on the island. One is that of courtiers, another is of commoners, right? And then we have Prospero, Miranda, Ariel, and Ferdinand at one place. So, in a way, there are three groups. But here in this scene, it will be for the first time that all main characters will be brought together on the stage. And all the difficulties will be unfolded. Then the marriage of Ferdinand and Miranda is blessed by Alonso. And after that, the guilty are punished. This scene is very important because it will be all about rewards and punishments. The rioters are dismissed with physical discomfort. Caliban restored his formal possession of the island, and Ariel is set free. This is what these people wanted. So, the climax of the play somehow, it sets everything right. Now, let's continue with the explanation of the text. Act 5, Scene 1 takes place before Prospero's cell. Please understand, it takes place before Prospero's cell. Enter Prospero in his magic robes and Ariel. So the scene begins with the conversation of these two main characters, that is Prospero and Ariel. Prospero says, "Now does my project gather to a head. Now does my project actually means the plan which he has already undertaken, the plan which he has undertaken. And what was his plan? His plan was to take his revenge from his enemies. So now is my project, now is my plan gathered to a head. It has gathered, it has reached, gather means reach, to a head, to a climax. So as it is a climax scene, in the beginning only, Prospero gives the readers an idea that his plan has reached its climax. My charms crack not. My charms here refer to magical charms that he has. Does not crack means it does not fail, right? My spirits obey. His spirits, it was because of the spirits only whom he used to command that he was able to reach the climax of his plan. He says, my spirits obey, and time goes upright with his carriage. And time goes upright. It goes exactly in the way that he wanted, with his carriage, with his burden. All right. How is the day? How is the day means what time of the day is it? Ariel says, on the sixth hour. We are on the sixth hour, means it is 6 o'clock in the evening. At which time, my lord, you said a work should cease. Cease means stop. This is the time when you thought of accomplishing your task. Prospero says, I did say so. Of course, I said so. When first I raised the tempest, say, my spirit, how fares the king and his followers? Now, please tell me, how fares is the king and his followers? What is their condition? Ariel says, confined together. They are imprisoned together. Why? In the same fashion as you gave in charge. In charge here means orders. Just as you left them, exactly the way you left them. Now, when did Prospero leave them? He left them at the time of the banquet, and they are there at the same place. All prisoners, sir. They all are prisoners in the line groove, which weather fends your cell. They cannot budge till your release. They are in the line groove, sorry. They are in the line groove. Line groove means that is the groove of lime trees. This groove of lime tree protect Prospero's cell, and in that groove of trees only, Prospero has confined them they cannot budge. Budge means move. They cannot budge, they cannot move till your release, until you release them. The king, his brother, and your brother, they abide means stay. All three, these all three stay distracted means they are in a sort of madness. And the remaining people, mourning means lamenting, feeling sad over them, brimful of sorrow and dismay. Brimful means full to the brim. Brim means edge. But chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good old Lorenzo. But chiefly, mainly that person whom you named, termed means named, sir, whom you named the good old Lord Gonzalo. Tears run down his beard. He's weeping so badly, crying so badly that there is a continuous flow of tears on his beard, like winter's drops from eaves of reeds. Winter's drops here refer to icicles melting into water. Okay, so in a thatched hut, if there is some hole, if there is some eave, means if there is some hole in the roof, and the water, when it is raining, so the water continuously flow from there. Your charm so strongly works them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender. Your charm, your magical charm has worked so strongly on them. They have been influenced, they have been affected with your magical charms, that if you now beheld them, see them, if you look at them now, if you see them now, your affections would become tender. Even your affections, your feelings would become tender towards them. You'll feel kind. Says, does thou think so, spirit? Do you actually think so? Ariel says, mine would, sir, were I human. If I were a human, mine would definitely be. So for that, Prospero says, and mine shall. And even my feelings will also be the same. Has thou, which are but air, you, as you, who is just air, who is just a spirit, if you have a touch, a feeling of their afflictions here means suffering. If you have a feeling for their suffering, if you can feel it, and shall not myself, so will I not feel the same? Will I not feel the same? Who is one of their kind? Who belongs to them only? I belong to the human race to which these people also belong. That relish all as sharply. Relish here means feel. All as sharply, all as keenly, who feel as keenly passion as they. I also feel the passions, the emotions exactly in the same way as these people feel, because we belong to the same race. So be kindlier moved than thou art. So will I not be kindlier moved? Will I not be moved, influenced, affected in a more kindly way, in a kindlier way than you are? Though with their high wrongs, I am struck to a quit. I struck to the quick means I feel deeply hurt. I feel deeply hurt. Though with their high wrongs I feel deeply hurt, yet with my nobler reason, because nobler reason he means to say that in my reasoning, in my brain, I am noble. Against my fury do I take part. Now I take part against my fury. I am ready to act against my fury. So, what does he mean to say? Here, children, in this act, theme of reconciliation is very important, and that is what has been seen. See, throughout the play we have seen Prospero always wanting to take his revenge from his enemies, but now when his enemies are under his control, he is feeling kind towards them, he is feeling compassionate towards them, because their condition is really critical. Note, it is a very common proverb also, because Shakespearean dialogues are often used as proverbs. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. Vengeance means revenge. The rarer action. It is very common for anyone to take revenge if any wrong is done to that person. But the rarer quality is if you are being virtuous at that time, and if you are being kind at that time. Penitent, the sole drift of my purpose doth extend not a frown further. They being penitent. Penitent means repentant. If they are repentant over their actions, if they are regretting over their actions, the sole drift of my purpose, the sole drift here means intention, the sole intention of my purpose doth extend. So doth extend means fulfilled. If they are repenting over their actions, and if they are repentant, the only intention of my plan, of my purpose is fulfilled. Not a frown further, not any further anger. I am not going to be angry anymore. Go, release them, Ariel. And then he commands Ariel to release them. My charms I'll break, their senses I'll restore, and they shall be themselves. So he asks Ariel to release them, and then he says that he will break his charms, magical charms, and they will restore their senses, which they had already lost, but they will restore their senses and they will be themselves, means they will come to their normal selves. Ariel says, I'll fetch them, sir. I'll bring them, sir. Fetch here means bring. I'll bring them, sir. So then Ariel exits from there. Now, this speech which Prospero gives is a soliloquy because he is talking to himself. So he is addressing all those spirits. He is addressing all those spirits and powers which have always helped him to, to do magic. Okay. So he is, first of all, he addresses the elves. Elves means spirits. You spirits of hills, brooks means streams of water, standing lakes means ponds, and grooves of trees, and you that on the sands with printless. Why printless? Because leaving no impression, foot impression, with printless foot, do chase, do follow the ebbing Neptune, do follow the ebbing Neptune, Neptune who is the god of sea, and do fly him when he comes back. So ebbing Neptune, why is Neptune called ebbing? Because retreating god of sea. The way tides, they rise and then they retreat. So similarly, that's why Neptune has been called the ebbing Neptune, and do fly him when he comes back, and do leave him when he comes back. You demi puppets, that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the ewe not bites. You small creatures that make the green sour ringlets, who make the green sour ringlets. What are ringlets means? Ring. Green sour rings. They make the ring, on the grass because they dance in a circle. So they make ring on the grass by moonshine during night, at the time of night when the moon is shining, whereof, from where the ewe not bites. You must be knowing are the female ship. They do not bite, they do not graze over there. And you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms, and their pastime is to make midnight mushrooms, that rejoice, that feel happy to hear the solemn curfew. And he's talking about the demi puppets who feel happy to hear the solemn curfew. Curfew is the evening bell. Who feel happy to hear the evening bell. Why would they feel happy? Because after evening there would come night, and they come out at night only, where they dance in circle on the green grass plots, and their pastime is to make midnight mushrooms. So these spirits work at night only. That is why they become happy after hearing evening bell. I have bedimmed the noontide sun. It was with your help only that I have bedimmed. Bedimmed means made dim. I had made dim the noontide sun. Noontide sun is the brightest one. But it was with your help only that I could dim the light of the brightest sun, called forth the mutinous winds. It was with your help that I called forth the mutinous wind. Mutinous means rebellious winds. And twixt the green sea and the azure vault set roaring war. And twixt means between. And it was with your help that between the green sea and azure vault here means sky, blue sky, set roaring war. In the dread rattling thunder to the frightening thunder, have I given fire? I added fire and rifted. Rifted means split. Jove's stout oak. Stout is strong oak. Oak tree is supposed to be the strongest because it is very old tree and it cannot be rifted. But it was with the help of these spirits that Prospero used to add lightning, fire to the thunder, and it would split the strong oak tree of Jove with his own bolt. Bolt is thunderbolt. The strong base promontory. Promontory means high land that juts the sea. High land that juts the sea. Have I made shake? It was with the help of these spirits that he could shake these strong base lands, which are highlands, which are found in the sea. They have such strong bases, but with the help of magic, he used to shake them. And by the spurs, spurs are roots, plucked up the pine and kedar, and I could pluck the pine and kedar trees by their roots. Graves at my command have waked their sleepers, opened and let them forth by my so potent art. Now, further he tells that at my command, when I asked, graves have waked their sleepers. Graves used to make the sleepers, means the dead bodies sleeping into those graves. He used to arouse them. Opened, the graves would open and let them forth. Whom will they let forth? Those dead bodies by my so potent art, by my so powerful art. So, till here, Prospero tells all the things that he used to do with his magic. But this rough magic I hear abjure. But this rough magic I hear abjure. Abjure means give up. And when I have required some heavenly music, required means, and when I have made available some heavenly music, which even now I do, to work mine end here means purpose, uh, to work my purpose upon their senses, that this airy charm is for, to work my purpose upon their senses. Whose senses? The senses of those whose benefit this magic spell is intended. I'll break my staff. Staff here refers to his magic wand. Bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and after breaking it, I'll bury it certain fathoms in the fathom. One fathom is 6 feet. So I'll bury it certain fathoms in the earth, and deeper than did ever plummet sound. Plummet again was a weighted line which was used for measuring the depth of water. So even I'll drown my book. I'll drown my book. I'll throw my books in the sea, and I'll make sure that they are drowned deeper than ever plummet can reach. Solemn music. And then there again is solemn music. Why? Because Ariel re-enters the stage, and then after Ariel, Alonso, with a frantic gesture, as if he's a frantic mad person, attended by Gonzalo. Gonzalo is attending Alonso. Sebastian and Antonio, in like manner, they are also desperate, attended by Adrian and Francisco. They all enter the circle which Prospero had made, right? And there stand charmed, which Prospero observing speaks. Now, air, the solemn air and the best comforter to an unsettled fancy. Unsettled means distracted. Fancy is the imagination. Cure thy brains, cure your brains. Now he is in a way commanding them, now useless. Your brains, which are now useless, boiled within thy skull, which is as if boiling within your skull. So these brains you cure with the help of this solemn air. There stand, for you are spell stopped. You are standing there because you are spell stopped. You are stopped by the magical spell. All right, you are immobilized by magic. And then one by one he addresses them. Holy Gonzalo, honorable man, my eyes, even sociable, means responsive to the show of thine, fall fellowly drops. Fellowly means similar drops. So my eyes also fall similar drops, means tears, the way your eyes do. The charm dissolves apace. Apace means quickly. The charm, the magical charm, is dissolving quickly. And as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, and he is making a kind of comparison. As the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness, after the night, when morning comes, it melts the darkness of the night. So their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes that mantle their clearer reason. So these delusions and distractions were like cloud covering their reason. Now they have started melting away, and their senses are rising. Oh, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, you are my savior, you are my true preserver, and a loyal sir. To him you followed, and you are a loyal person. To him you follow, to whom you follow. He follows Alonso, so he is very much loyal to Alonso. I will pay thy graces home, both in word and deed. I will pay your graces. You will be reward for these qualities. Home, when I am at home, both in word and deed, both in word also and in deed, in action also. Most cruelly didst thou, Alonso, use me and my daughter. Now he is addressing Alonso. He talks to Alonso. He says that you have used me, you have treated me. Use here means treated me most cruelly. Not only me, but my daughter as well. Thy brother was a furtherer in the act. You were the one who treated me cruelly, and your brother, means Sebastian, was one step ahead in the act, in this act of cruelty. Thou art pinched forth now, Sebastian. You are pinched forth now. Pinched means afflicted now. You are afflicted now. You are suffering now because of that. Flesh and blood. So he has addressed Sebastian also, that you are afflicted now because of that only. Flesh and blood, you that entertained ambition, expelled remorse and nature. You who is my own flesh and blood, because you were my real brother, but you were the one who entertained ambition, who cherished ambition, all right, more than remorse and nature. Cherished ambition and expelled, you completely expelled, gave away remorse. Remorse is regret. And nature, you know, nature, birth. Who with Sebastian, whose inward pinches, who with Sebastian, whose inward pinches means his conscience, pangs of the conscience, therefore are most strong, would here have killed your king. Now, Antonio, what all you did to me, but with Sebastian also, whose conscience was so strong, but here you planned to kill the king with his help. I do forgive thee. I forgive you. Unnatural though thou art, though you are unnatural in the way you behaved with me, but I forgive you. Their understanding begins to swell. Now their understanding begins to rise. Now they are able to understand things, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. Again, a metaphor has been used, and the approaching tide, the approaching wave will shortly fill the reasonable shore, which now lies foul and muddy. This shore which is now foul and muddy, that is why they are not able to see anything. But as soon as this tide will approach, it will fill the shore with clear water. Not one of them that yet looks on me or would know me, Ariel. Now he is addressing Ariel, saying that none of them who looks on me, who is looking at me, they would know me, Ariel. Fetch me the hat and rapier in my cell. It's better you fetch me the hat, and rapier is the dagger, which he used to carry as a Duke. So he wants himself in the robe of Duke. I will disguise me. I will disguise me means I'll disrobe myself of my magic garments. All right, because right now he is wearing magic garments. It was given in the beginning of the scene. And myself present as I was sometime Milan. So Milan here means Duke of Milan. And I will present myself as I was sometimes the Duke of Milan. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free. You will be free very early. Now Ariel sings and helps to attire him, to dress him. So he brings, the dress that he used to wear as the Duke, and now he's helping him to wear it. Where the bee sucks, there suck I, in a cowslip's bell I lie. There I couch when owls do cry, on the bat's back I do fly, after summer merrily. Merrily, merrily shall I live now, under the blossom that hangs on the bough. So Ariel is singing this song as he is happy to know that the time of his freedom is near. He is about to get free. Now Prospero says, why, that's my dainty Ariel. Ariel. That's my dainty Ariel. I shall miss thee, I will miss you, but thou shalt have freedom. But you will definitely have freedom. So. To the king's ship, invisible as thou art, there shalt thou find the mariners asleep under the hatches. Now he is giving another command to Ariel. He says that uh, to the king's ship, invisible as thou art. You go to the king's ship as you are invisible. In the same way as you are invisible, there shall thou find the mariners, the sailors asleep. In that ship, you will find the mariners asleep under the hatches, under the deck. The master and the bosun, master is actually the captain of the ship. The master and the bosun, who is an official, being awake, when they are awakened, enforce them to this place, bring them, force them to come to this place, and presently. Presently means at once. I prithee, I request you. He says, I drink the air before me and return or ere your pearls twice beat. Gonzalo says, all torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Now Gonzalo says all torment, torment means torture, all kind of torture, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here, lives here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country. Now Prospero says, behold, look, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan Prospero. Look, the wronged Duke of Milan Prospero. For more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thy body. To make you assure, to make you confirm of the fact that a living prince is speaking to you, let me embrace your body, let me hug you. And to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome. Now, Alonso, of course, you can understand how difficult it would have been for him to believe all this. He says, whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late I have been, I not know. Whether you are he or not, whether you are actually he or not, or some enchanted trifle, or it is some enchanted trifle means some insignificant thing produced by magic, or it is some kind of magical spell to abuse me, to deceive me, as late as recently I have been, as I was deceived recently. He's talking about the banquet actually. I know not, I don't know. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood. But because Prospero has hugged him, so that's why he says, your pulse beats as of flesh and blood, as it does for human, living human. Since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind amends. The affliction, the disease with which my mind was afflicted, that amends, that recovers, it improves. With which I fear a madness held me. And I fear that I was held with a kind of madness. This must crave, and if this be at all, a most strange story. And if this be at all, because it is very difficult for him to believe, if it is actually happening, then it must crave a most strange story. Then it demands, crave here means demands a very strange story. Thy dukedom I resign. I resign your dukedom, and do entreat and do request thou pardon me my wrongs. I give you your dukedom back, and I request you to pardon me, to forgive me for my wrongs. But how should Prospero be living and be here? But how is it possible that Prospero is living and is here? Prospero says, first, noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined. Now, Prospero, noble friend, here he is referring to Gonzalo. Let me hug you also. Let me embrace your age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined. Gonzalo says, whether this be or be not, I'll not swear. I am not in a condition to swear whether it is actually there or not. Prospero says, you do yet taste some subtleties of the isle that will not let you believe things certain. I know that there are certain subtle points, subtleties means subtle points, that means illusions of the isle, which will not let you believe what all is happening. Welcome, my friends, all. Then, aside to Sebastian and Antonio, he knows that Sebastian and Antonio are not so easy to handle. That's why he says, but you, my brace of lords, but you, he is referring to Antonio and Sebastian, my brace of lords, my pair of lords, were I so minded, if I want, I here could pluck his highness's frown upon you. I here could pluck his highness's. His highness here means kings. Frown is the anger. If I want, I can make the king angry on you and justify you traitors. And I can prove you to be the traitors. Why? Because they tried to kill the king. At this time, I will tell no tales, but I will tell no tales means I will not disclose any secrets. I will not disclose any secrets this time. This time I will not. So, in a way, he is blackmailing them. If they do any wrong, he can punish them anytime. Now, Sebastian says aside, the devil speaks in him. Prospero says, no, for you most wicked, sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. So now he is referring to Antonio. No, you are most wicked to call, and you are the one. If I call you brother, in that way I would be infecting my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fall, but still I forgive you your rankest, most heinous crime, all of them, all the crimes, all the wrongs that you have done, and require my dukedom of thee. I require my dukedom from you, which perforce, by force I know, thou must restore, which by force you'll have to restore, you'll have to give it back to me. All right? Alonso says, if thou beest Prospero, if you are Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. Give us particulars, give us details of your preservation, how you were saved. How thou has met us here. In what way have you met us here? Who 3 hours since were wrecked upon this shore? How have you met us here? We who were wrecked upon this shore just 3 hours before. Where I have lost, how sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dearest son Ferdinand. Just 3 hours before, during the shipwreck, I lost my dear son Ferdinand. Prospero says, I am woe for it, sir. I feel sorry for it, sir. Alonso says, irreparable is the loss. And patience says it is past her cure. My loss is irreparable, it cannot be mended. And even patience says that even patience cannot help to cure it. Prospero says, I rather think you have not sought her help. You must have not sought her help. Her means patience help, of whose soft grace for the like loss I have her sovereign aid to rest myself content. Because I have taken the help of patience, of whose soft grace for the like loss, same similar kind of loss even I had, but with her sovereign aid, means with the help of patience, I rest myself content. I am very much satisfied. I am living satisfactorily. Alonso says, you the like loss? You also had the similar kind of loss? Prospero, as great to me as late. Late means recently, yes. Even my loss was in the same way it was great, and in the same way it was very recent. And supportable to make the dear loss, Have I means much weaker than you may call to comfort you, for I have lost my daughter. But supportable here means endurable, tolerable. Supportable to make the dear loss, but it is endurable to make the dear loss. Have I means much weaker than you may call to comfort you, because my means are very weak, but yes, it can help to comfort you, because I have lost my daughter, because my daughter is lost. A daughter? Oh heavens, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there. Now, as soon as Alonso comes to know that Prospero had a daughter, suddenly he makes a wish. I wish that they both were living in Naples as king and queen. That they were, I wish, myself were murdered in the oozy bed where my son lies. And then he makes another wish. I wish that I was lying over there in the oozy bed, means I would have drowned where my son lies. Would have lying in place of my son over there. When did you lose your daughter? Then he asked Prospero. Prospero says, in this last tempest. He looks at the condition of other lords. He says, I perceive, I see these lords at this encounter, it means at this meeting, do so much admire. Admire means surprise. They are so much surprised that they devour their reason. Devour means swallow their reason. Reason is logic. That they swallow their logic and scarce think and hardly think. Their eyes do offices of truth, and they can hardly think that their eyes are doing true offices. True job means whatever they are saying is seeing, whatever the eyes are seeing is truth. Their words are natural breath. It is difficult for them to believe whether their words, what all they are speaking, whether it is natural or not. But howsoever you have been jostled from your senses, but howsoever, in whatever way you have been jostled means pushed out from your senses, know for certain that I am Prospero, know for sure that I am Prospero, and that very Duke which was thrust forth of Milan. I am that Duke which was thrust forth of Milan, which was driven out of Milan. All right, thrust forth means driven out of Milan, who most strangely upon this shore where you were wrecked was landed. And I was landed upon this shore where you were wrecked most strangely to be the lord on it. And I landed here and I became the lord on this. No more yet of this. No need to more further about it, for it is a chronicle of day by day. Chronicle means story of day by day. This story is not so short that it can be told, it can be narrated just now. It is a story, it is a long story of day by day. Every day, some part should be told. Not a relation for a breakfast, nor befitting this first meeting. It is not a breakfast story. It's not very short. And at the same time, it is not fit to be told in this first meeting. Welcome, sir. This cell is my court. Here have I few attendants and subjects, none abroad. This cell is my court, and here only I have a few attendants and subjects, none abroad, and I do not have any subjects. Pray you look in. I request you, look in. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing. Requite means reward, repay. I will repay you with as good a thing. Since you have given me my dukedom back, I will repay you with equally good thing. At least bring forth a wonder to content you as much as me, my dukedom. At least I will bring forth a wonder. I will give you a kind of surprise, which will be satisfaction, the kind of satisfaction that I have got after regaining my dukedom. The same kind of satisfaction you will also get. Now, here Prospero discovers Ferdinand and Miranda playing at chess. Now, Miranda says, Sweet Lord, you play me false. Ferdinand, no, my dearest love, I would not for the world. Now, Miranda, yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play. It doesn't matter if you play false with me for a score of kingdoms. Now they are talking, this kind of sweet talks are going on between Ferdinand and Miranda, and Alonso looks at them. It is very difficult for Alonso to believe. He says, if this prove a vision of the island, one dear son shall I twice lose. If it is just a vision of the island, if this vision which I am seeing here is not real, it is a kind of illusion, then I'll be losing my only son at twice, two times. Sebastian says, most high miracle, Ferdinand. Now, though the seas, now Ferdinand has also looked at them. Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I have cursed them without cause. Now, as soon as Ferdinand sees his father, even he becomes very happy and he says, though these seas are threatening, but I feel that they are merciful. And I was cursing them without any reason. And then he kneels down to his father. Alonso says, now all the blessings of a glad father compass thee about. All the blessings of a glad father compass and circle you about. Arise, get up, and say how you came here. Tell me how you came here. Now, Miranda, who had never seen any human earlier, Ferdinand was like, a kind of wonder for her. Now she is able to see so many people. She says, oh, wonder, how many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. This human race is so beautiful. Oh, brave new world, such beautiful new world that has such people in it. Prospero says, it is new to thee. It is new to you only. Alonso, what is this maid with whom thou was at play? He is asking Ferdinand, who is this maid? Who is this girl with whom you were playing? Your eldest acquaintance, your oldest acquaintance cannot be 3 hours. You cannot know her for more than 3 hours. Is she the goddess that has served us, that has severed us and brought us thus together? Is she some goddess who has separated us earlier and now she has brought us together? Ferdinand says, sir, she is mortal, she is a human. But by immortal providence here means God, by some divine help, by some divine providence, she is mine. I chose her when I could not ask my father for his advice, nor thought I had one. I chose her to be my wife when I could not ask my father for his advice because I thought that I do not have my father. She is daughter to this famous Duke of Milan, of whom so often I have heard renown, but never saw before. She is the daughter of this Duke of Milan, Prospero, about whom I heard a lot. He was so popular, but I never saw him. Of whom I have received a second life, and he is the person who has given me second life. And second father, this lady makes him to me. And because of this lady, he has become my second father as well. He is my father in law. Alonso says, I am hers, and even I am her second father. But oh, how oddly will it sound that I must ask my child forgiveness. It will be very odd to sound that I have to ask my child forgiveness. Prospero says, there, sir, stop, please stop it. Let us not burden our remembrance. Let us not burden our remembrance, remembrances, memory with heaviness that's gone. We should not burden our memory with a kind of heaviness, sadness, which has already passed, which is already gone. Now, Gonzalo is also very happy at this encounter. Gonzalo says, I have inly wept. Inly means inwardly wept. I have inwardly wept. I have already wept, or should have spoke ere this, or I should have spoken before this. Look down, you God, and on this couple drop a blessed crown. He is praying God to bless this couple. For it is you that have chalked forth the way which brought us hither. For because it is you, he is referring to the God who has chalked forth, who has traced out this way which has brought us hither, here. Now Alonso says, I say Amen, Gonzalo. Gonzalo, was Milan thrust from Milan that his issue should become kings of Naples? Was Milan thrust from Milan means was the Duke of Milan thrust, driven away from Milan so that his issue Issue here means his child should become kings of Naples. Did all this happen so that they become the king and queen? Oh, rejoice beyond a common joy. This joy, this happiness is beyond a common joy, and set it down with gold on lasting pillars. And it must be recorded as a history with gold on lasting pillars. In one voyage's journey, did Claribel her husband find at Tunis, and Ferdinand her brother found a wife where he himself was lost. In one journey, Claribel found her husband because after completing that journey, they went to Tunis and Claribel got married to her husband. And Ferdinand, her brother, found a wife where he himself was lost. Prospero his dukedom in a poor isle. In one of the journeys, Prospero found his dukedom in the form of this island, and all of us ourselves when no man was his own. And we all have found ourselves when no man was his own, when no man was in his normal self, right? So as Gonzalo is a highly optimistic person, look at this speech. Again, he finds positive traits in the negativity. Whatever wrongs, whatever trouble they all had to face, but after that he says that we all have regained our strength. Alonso says to Ferdinand and Miranda, give me your hands. Let grief and sorrow still embrace his heart that does not wish you joy. Gonzalo, be it so. Amen. Now, Ariel, who was sent to call the captain and bosun, re enter Ariel with the master and bosun amazedly following. They are following him amazedly. Oh, look, sir, here is more of us. There are more people like us. I prophesied if a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. So Gonzalo is saying, look, sir, I prophesied, I already made a prophecy, I already predicted. If a gallows were on land, this fellow could not drown. You know, Act 1, Scene 1, the Tempest scene. Gonzalo says this person about the bosun that he needs to be hanged. You know, he cannot drown. Now, blasphemy, he is referring to the bosun only because bosun was speaking so high earlier. Now, he is addressing to the bosun as blasphemy. Now, blasphemy, that swearest grace overboard, not an oath on shore. You were swearing grace on the board of the ship. Don't you have any oath to give when you are on the shore? Hast thou no mouth by land? Can't you speak on land? What is the news? Bosun says, the best news is that we have safely found our king and company. The next, another news is our ship, which but 3 glasses since, glasses of ours, glasses here means ours, which but 3 hours before we gave out split, which was splitted, which was broken, is tight and yare and bravely rigged as when we first put out to sea. And our ship, which was broken just 3 hours before, now it is tight and yare, now it is finely equipped. Bravely rigged means finely equipped, as when we first put out to sea, the way it was when it was put to the sea at first. Now Ariel says aside to Prospero, sir, all this service have I done since I went. Prospero, my tricksy spirit. Alonso, these are not natural events. They strengthen from strange to stranger. They are becoming more and more strange. Say, how came you hither? Tell me how you came here. Bosun says, if I did think, sir, I were well awake, I would strive to tell you. If I can think that I was well awakened, I can struggle to tell you. We were dead of sleep. We all were sleeping. And how we know not. And we don't know how we were sleeping. All clapped under hatches. We all were clapped. Clapped means thrown as prisoners. We were imprisoned under hatches, under deck. Where? But even now, with strange and several noises of roaring, shrieking, howling, jingling chains, and more diversity of sounds, all horrible, we were awaked. So we were sleeping like dead under those hedges. How it was, we don't know. But just now we heard several strange noises, several strange sounds, and we were awakened. straightway at liberty. And we were released also, straightway we were at liberty, where we, in all her trim, she's fully equipped, freshly beheld, freshly saw a royal, gallant means brave ship, and as soon as we were at liberty, we saw the ship which was all finely equipped and good and brave. Our master capering to eye her. Capering means dancing to eye her. Our master means the captain of our ship started dancing to eye her, to see her. Honor tries so please you, even in a dream. Honor tries means in a moment, in a moment. So please you, even in a dream, were we divided from them and were brought moping hither. Like in a dream, we were divided, and now we have been brought mopping here. Mopping means in a semi-conscious state. Mopping is semi-conscious state. Now we are brought here in a semi-conscious state. Now Ariel says aside to Prospero, was it well done, Prospero? Bravely, my diligence, thou shalt be free. Alonso says, this is as strange a maze as ever men trod. Trod means walked. This place is like a maze, such a strange maze that has ever been walked by men. And there is in this business more than nature was ever conduct of. And in all this business, business here means affair, there is something more than natural, more than nature that was ever conducted. Some oracle must rectify our knowledge. Oracle is the voice of God. Only some voice of God can rectify our knowledge. It can improve our knowledge. Prospero says, Sir, my liege, Sir, my lord, do not infest your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. Do not infest. Infest here means trouble. Don't trouble your mind with beating on the strangeness of this business. Don't make your mind think upon the strangeness of this affair. At picked leisure, which shall be shortly, single I'll resolve you. At picked leisure, leisure is the free time. Whenever we are free, which will be shortly, I'll resolve you. Which to you shall seem probable? Single, alone. Single here means alone. I'll resolve all your doubts when we are alone, which to you shall seem probable, and then it will seem probable to you. Of every these happened accidents, all these accidents that have happened, I will tell you in detail about it, but I will tell you alone and at a picked leisure. Till when be cheerful and think of each thing well. Till then, you just be happy and think of everything well. Now, aside to Ariel, Prospero says something to Ariel. Come hither, spirit, set Caliban and his companions free. Now bring them also. All right. So, untie the spell. Spell again means magic spell. Exit Ariel. How fares my gracious sir? There is yet missing of your company some few odd lads. Lads means boys that you remember not. Then he reminds Alonso about them, that there are some other boys which are missing, who are missing from your company. Re-enter Ariel, driving in Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo in their stolen apparel, on those stolen garments. Stefano says, every man shift for all the rest, and let no man take care of himself, for all is but fortune. Coraggio, bully monster, coraggio. Now you see, they are released, and as soon as they come over there, so Stefano looks at these people, and coraggio means have courage, bully monster, have courage. Trinculo says, if these be true spies, which I wear in my head, spies here means eyes. Here is a goodly sight. If these are true eyes which I have in my head, then it is a very good sight. It is a very good scene. Caliban, oh city boss, these be brave spirits indeed. These are actually handsome spirits. Actually, Caliban has also not seen any human being other than Prospero, and then he saw Stefano and Trinculo. How fine my master is, because at this, but he has never seen Prospero like this. Prospero is in his apparel of, in his dress of duke right now. How fine my master is. I'm afraid he will chastise me. Chastise means punish me, because Caliban knows that Prospero is not going to leave him. Sebastian, ha ha, what things are these, my lord Antonio? Will money buy them? So actually, they are looking at Caliban, Caliban, who is a deformed creature. And even is Stefano and Trinculo, after too much of drinking and the way they have been in that dirty pool, they are also looking very strange. Antonio says, very like one of them is a plain fish and no doubt marketable. So, who is this one of them whom they are calling plain fish? That is Caliban. Prospero says, mark, but the badges of these men, my lords, then say if they be true. Just note, mark the badges. Badges here means garments. Mark the garments of these men and then tell me if they are true, if they are honest. This misshapen knave, this deformed creature, his mother was a witch, and one so strong that could control the moon, make flows and ebbs, and deal in her command without her power. This deformed creature is the son of a witch, the witch who was so strong that she could control the moon, make flows and ebbs. She was the one who could make flows and ebbs and deal in her command without her power. These three have robbed me. They have robbed me of these garments, and this demi devil, for he is a bastard one, had plotted with them. This demi devil, again, he is referring to Caliban. He had plotted with them to take my life. So they have not only robbed me of my garments, but also have plotted against my life. Two of these fellows you must know and own. You must be knowing these two fellows. This thing of darkness, acknowledge mine. I acknowledge this thing of darkness as mine. Caliban, I shall be pinched to death. Alonso, is not this Stefano my drunken butler? Sebastian, he is drunk now. Where had he wine? Alonso, and Trinculo is reeling ripe. Even Trinculo is reeling ripe. He is also flushed with drinking. Where should they find this grand liquor that had gilded them, that had stuffed them? How camest thou in this pickle? Pickle is predicament, in this suffering. How came you in this situation? Trinculo says, I have been in such a pickle since I saw you last that I fear me will never out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing. I was in such a pickle, I was in such messy state since I saw you last that. Since the time I have seen you last, means I was on the ship. After that, I have been in such a pickle. I fear me. I am afraid of me, and will never out of my bones, because this smell is never going to go out of my bones. I shall not fear fly blowing. Even flies are not going to blow near me, as I have become, I'm stinging to that extent. Sebastian, why? How now, Stefano? Stefano, oh, touch me not. Don't touch me. I am not Stefano, but a cramp. Prospero, you'd be king of the isle, sir. Are you going to be the king of the isle, sir? Stefano says, I should have been a sore one then. If I would be the king of the isle, I would have been a sore one. Alonso, this is a strange thing as ever I looked on. He's referring to Caliban. Prospero says, he is as disproportioned in his manners as in his shape. The way in his shape he is disproportioned, ugly, in the same way he is ugly in his manners. Go, sir, to my cell, take with you your companions, as you look to have my pardon, trim it handsomely. Now he gives them a physical labor as a punishment, physical discomfort as a punishment. He asked Caliban to go with Stefano and Trinculo and, to trim, to make Prospero's cell neat and tidy. Caliban says, ah, yes, that I will do that. And I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. And from now, I'll be very wise and I'll always be looking for your grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool. What a fool I was. He is calling himself as that I took this drunkard to be a god and I used to worship him. Prospero says, go to, away, leave from here. Alonso, hence, and bestow your luggage where you found it. And keep this luggage, means those garments where you found them. Sebastian, or stole it rather. Exit Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo. Now Prospero says, Sir, I invite your highness and your train means train of attendants, to my poor cell. I invite you all to my cell, where you shall take your rest for this one night. Which part of it I'll waste here means spend, with such discourse is conversation, as I no doubt shall make it go quick away. The story of my life and the particular accidents gone by since I came to this isle. I'll be telling you the story of my life and all the accidents that have taken place since I came to this island. And in the morn means morning, and in the morning, I'll bring you to your ship, and so to Naples. In the morning, I'll take you to your ship, and from there to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial means wedding of these dear beloved solemnized. Solemnized means performed. So tomorrow I'll take you to the ship, and from there we'll go to Naples, where I hope to see the wedding of these dear beloved performed, and thence and therefore retire me to my Milan. From there I'll return to my Milan, where every third thought shall be my grave. And I would like to spend the rest of my life thinking about my death. Alonso says, I long to hear the story of your life. I long to hear the story of your life, which must take the ear strangely, means it will be very interesting for my ear. Prospero says, I'll deliver all, I'll tell you everything, and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, and sails so expeditious that shall catch your royal fleet far off. He says, I will definitely tell you everything and promise you calm seas, auspicious gales, gales are winds, and sails, ship sailing so expeditious. Expeditious means efficiently, that shall catch your royal fleet far off. Far off means which has a long start. And then he says aside to Ariel, my Ariel chick, that's thy charge, that's your duty. Then to the elements be free and fare thou well. Please you draw near. And then you will be free and you can go with other elements. And then they all exit from the stage. Now, this is another last speech given by Prospero, which is known as epilogue. What is epilogue? The concluding speech. You see, in the theater, it was either the plays used to have prologue, that is introductory speech, or an epilogue, that is concluding speech, which is given by the protagonist of the play, the main character of the play. All right. And there they address the audience. So Prospero is giving this epilogue here, and he says, now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is most faint. I have overthrown, I have given up, discarded all the charms that I had earlier, magical charms, and whatever strength I have is mine own strength. I do not have the power or strength of any magic, which is most faint, which is the weakest. Now it is true, I must be here confined by you or sent to Naples. Now there are two options. Either you confine me here, imprison me here, or send me to Naples. Let me not. Don't let me confined here. Since I have my dukedom got and pardoned the deceiver, dwell in this bare island for your by your spell. So let me not dwell in this bare island. Let me not live in this bare, in this desolate island by your magic spell, since I have got my dukedom and I have pardoned the deceivers. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands. Good hands means clapping. But release me from your magic spell. He is referring to the audience. Release me from your magic spell with your good hands. Gentle breath of yours my sails must fill, or else my project fails, which was to please. Your gentle breath should fill my sails. I should be able to sail easily with your gentle breath. Otherwise, my project, my plan would fail, that was to please you, to make you happy. Now I want spirits to enforce, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, unless I be relieved by prayer, which pierces so that it assaults, mercy itself, and free all faults. Now I want the spirits to enforce me, art to enchant, and my ending is despair, and my ending would be sad unless if I am not relieved by prayer, if I am not relieved by prayers from you, which pierces so that it assaults, which pierces so that it assaults here means pleads, requests, mercy itself, and free all faults. And I request you to show mercy and make me free from all faults. If I have made any fault, if I have made any wrong, then please forgive me for that. As you from crimes would pardon be, let your indulgence set me free. Indulgence means kindness. As I would be pardoned from my crimes, let your kindness set me free. All right, children. So this way we have finished the whole act and also the play. Because as I told you in ISC, you will be getting only last three acts. Now you see, this was the explanation of the text. But from examination point of view, what matters most important are the questions. There are two kinds of questions which you are going to get. One is one markers in the form of MCQs and complete sentences, and the other are 5 markers and 10 markers, right? So, for these questions, I have decided to give you a live session. So on the upcoming Sunday, that is on 15th of January at 11 o'clock, I'll see you in the live session. Till then, you can read it once again, keep all your questions and queries ready, and at 11 o'clock, I'll take your questions and answer them all. We'll be doing all important questions from Act 3, 4, and 5. I'll also tell you how to answer those questions, how to write long answers, and the most possible MCQs and complete sentences will be done from these 3 acts. Till then, bye bye.